You're showing a lot of. Hi guys, I'm playing with myself, entertaining myself for a minute. Ah, let's see. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Hello, everybody. Welcome to tonight's Trap Lounge. I am your host, your trap therapist, Kimble Evans. It is 8:39. I have to make sure I do this within an hour because Instagram goes off in an hour. Okay, so I'm on here tonight. We're going to be talking about part two, the process of mental health services, taking care of the whole system. I had to get myself together for a little bit before I came on. Just got off work, but I'm here. Thank God that I'm here tonight. And even though I'm 9 minutes over late, I don't like to be late. So let's go ahead and just do our mid-week check-in. You guys familiar with the mid-week check-in? YouTube, you're kind of bright over there. I'll put you in the middle next time. I might be able to still do that. Move around a little bit. So this is our midweek check-in. I posted this tonight. I think tonight at like around 6 o'clock. I was a little bit late. Phones were crazy today. I put a little attitude. I'll tell you about the attitude in a minute. But I do the midweek check-in. I post heart emojis up there. Well, this pertains to heart emojis here. I post this on. Let's see if I can turn you this way. Yeah, that light is really bright over there. I don't want to touch nothing. Everything's wrong right tonight. Hey, Miss Carla. So I think I posted this tonight at 6 o'clock because it was kind of late. I'm on this liquid diet now. I was doing fine Monday and Tuesday because I was off site. I was at work. Today I'm home and I'm walking past cookies and I'm walking past bread, and I'm like, I can go eat a granola bar, but I'm on a liquid diet. I have to get my body out of this diabetic state that is pre-diabetic state. I'm not claiming diabetes. It's pre-diabetic state that it's in that's causing my physician to be on edge. Me as well. But I have to get out the state. So I'm on a liquid diet until people start barbecuing. Until people start barbecuing, I'm on this liquid diet. But I did this midweek check-in at 6 o'clock. I put up there the black emoji heart because again, I had a tube. Nothing with anybody, but it's just a tube, just a little tube. I'll tell you about it in a minute. So just let me know how you're doing. Miss Carla got up there that great emoji heart, and she says she's feeling cool and self-restraint. Again, I put the black emoji heart up there saying that I was a little sad. I had a little sadness and anger. If you put a red emoji heart up there saying that you're doing great. A blue emoji heart says you're doing okay. A yellow emoji heart saying you're doing fine. There's a green emoji heart that says things are tough and I'm struggling. If you were to put that emoji heart up there, I would, inbox you, DM you, to ask you how you're doing, help you to process those thoughts and feelings, and probably some things to think about. If you have a purple emoji heart up there saying I'm having a hard time, I won't mind if somebody reached out to me. That broken emoji heart that says you're in a really dark place. We added some hearts on here. Pink emoji heart says you're having some harmony and balance in your life. The orange emoji heart says I'm being optimistic. You're feeling optimistic and uplifting. The brown emoji heart, it just has the emoji poop sign on there, just saying you're having a really shitty day, bad day. White emoji heart says I'm having some mixed feelings, emotions, blankness, and some innocence. You're doing minimum of anything today, minimum. This part of self-restraint. The light blue emoji heart says you're feeling relaxed and friendly. So let me get into this real fast while I have this too. Sorry, guys, my husband made me tea. I'm looking at this bubbling over here. And I like my tea. And this is strawberry tea. My daughter bought me a nice little, I have a teapot, like a Japanese teapot, and she bought me a personal Japanese tea cup. It's beautiful. I'll use it. I love tea. I love my coffee too, but I'm a tea girl. That's the only thing girly about me is tea and probably my nails. Nothing girly about me. So my husband got this tea and it's strawberry. It smells absolutely amazing. Okay. I tasted this. It's awesome. So let me tell you about this tube. I've been talking to my husband off and on, I think for about 2 weeks. Um, and this pertains to the process of mental health services, right? It pertains to that. Last week I had a strange call by somebody. Um, and the week before that, I have already said that the ex-husband called about the wife's boyfriend. There was one call. Then there was another call about the little girl barricading herself in the room. Mom couldn't get in. There was another call. Today, a grandmother called about her 16-year-old daughter getting physically aggressive with the 30-year-old aunt. And she says that the 16-year-old possibly has bipolar disorder. She doesn't remember what medication she's on. And the police came out. The police gave her our number to call. Sorry, my sweater, if it looks kind of musty with snot stains on it, that's my dog. We was playing today. Didn't want to go and change. My shirt is nice. My hat is nice, right? Here they come, my furry beeps. So I'm asking the lady on the phone questions about her granddaughter. And I will let her know that we will dispatch a mobile team to go out. While I'm asking her questions, please don't. Go sit, Zeus. Not near me. Go sit.
Go sit down.
Go sit. I'll show y'all my baby one day. He's very protective. So I'm asking her questions. She let me know she did not really know if the 16-year-old had a mental health diagnosis. I'm not putting that she may have bipolar disorder. I asked her, was she, did she see a doctor or a psychiatrist or her primary care doctor? She didn't know. I'm not putting it on somebody's report. Okay. That's the first thing that pissed me off. Okay. That was my first thing. Then she says, well, when I asked her, because the question on one of our documentation that we put into the system, it asks if the person has any weapons. And what we mean by weapons is a firearm or anything that can harm that person or harm someone else. She already had told me that her granddaughter, 16-year-old, the aunt was 30. They were fighting. They were getting into a scuffle, and the 16-year-old pulled a knife on the aunt, and the aunt had her baby in her hand. Okay. I'm writing this all up in my report. But when she said that she didn't know if the 16-year-old still had the weapon, that was my red alert. This is why this goes into the process of mental health services. We're going to be talking about mental health crisis tonight and some other things. Dispatching a mobile crisis unit as well. If people don't know that, we do that in Philadelphia. We will dispatch a mobile crisis unit. It's a criteria tool, but we will dispatch one. So in this lady's case, she wanted the mobile crisis unit to come out to her home for her 16-year-old daughter. So when she said that she didn't know if the child still had the knife, we are not the police. Even though I am not a mobile crisis person, in the van to go assess someone at their homes, I'm dispatching them. So I'm on the phone and I'm sending in a report electronically that the mobile crisis unit is going to get. And so imagine if you're the person that's reading the report and it says 16-year-old grandchild attacked 30-year-old aunt with knife while baby was in her hand. Now, first of all, if there is weapons involved, it'll put up there, I'll put weapons involved. I'll ask questions. Where's the weapon now? Where's the person now? Now I'm asking how many people are in the house. Give me their names. How old are they? I did ask those questions. But when a weapon is involved, I put in weapon, and in our report, it comes in all red. Alert. Weapon. So what happens when that happens and the mobile crisis unit gets to that person's residence and house, they're not going to knock on the door. They're going to call the recipient, the person that did the report. Hello, this is such and such. Does the person still have a weapon? They're not even guaranteeing that they're going to believe you. What they do is now they call and dispatch 911. And so again, the mobile team got the report, 16-year-old girl, aggressive towards 30-year-old aunt. They were in a fight, and 16-year-old girl had a knife while the aunt was holding the baby. Not only now does the mobile team have that report, Philadelphia police has that report. We already know our police are trained if there's a weapon to shoot to kill. We already know that. I'm not making any excuses for it, but we already know that. So again, if you as a person, if that is your job as the mobile team dispatcher, it's a clinician and a nurse that goes out. They don't have any weapons, no nothing on them. They're not armed with anything, and they read that report, and it says 16-year-old female has a knife, pulled the knife on 30-year-old aunt while the aunt had the baby in her hand. They're not going to go knock on that door. They're going to call police. First, they're going to call the person. And if they can't see inside the house. Is the person still there? Where are they at? How many people were in here? Because again, they're going off all the information on the report. And then they're second guessing it because now they're on the scene. They don't know where the weapon is. The person doesn't want to come outside. They're calling the police. Police get the same dispatch, same report, and it may say possible mental health individual, civilian. Thank people. This is what the case was with, what's his name? Wallace, babe. His name was Wallace, I think. This was the case that happened with the young man in West Philly. A lot of other cases. Actually, the last case that I know about was the Spanish guy. He went down a one-way street. He didn't know any English, and the cops just shot him up. And they said he had mental health. Because the cop said he had a weapon. Remember, they are trained when there's a weapon, brandish, or they see something that looks like a weapon, they are trained to shoot to kill. Again, I'm not saying that's the proper training for police because they're going through some things. Hence, that's why they have crisis counselors in police radio. So my tool was, again, remember I think I did a live coming home one day, possibly last week. Do not stretch the truth. Tell us the truth, but don't stretch the truth. Because I asked her, does your granddaughter still have the knife now? Well, I don't know, but she had it earlier today. You're calling me now, ma'am. Right now. I'll take in the report that she tried to attack her aunt while her aunt had the baby in her hand and she pulled a knife out on her. But I'm talking about right now. What's going on right now? Hey, Shalay, I'm going to give you a shout out, honey. I'm loving them sneakers. Girl, you doing something big. So I'm asking the lady, what's happening right now? So let's get into part 2 of tonight. I don't want to sit on my soapbox too long. But just know, when you're calling in to the police, to crisis, to police, fire, and rescue, you have to be accurate with your information. You have to be accurate. Where are you at? Who's there? What's going on? If you're getting robbed, shot, somebody did something, they're going to ask you if the person is black, white, Chinese, Hispanic. Is it a male or a female? What do they have on? They're going to ask you a series of questions. But let's get into tonight. So tonight we're going to talk about a mental health crisis, and that can be any situation in which a person's actions, feelings, and behaviors can lead them to hurting themselves or others, and or put them at risk of being unable to care for themselves or function in a community in a healthy manner. Baby, you smell good in here. I don't have my aromatherapy going on. My husband is cleaning, and it's pine sol. So if y'all from the old school, you know how pine sol smell in the house. That's the definition they have for a mental health crisis. Any situation in which a person's actions, feelings, and behaviors can lead them to hurting themselves or others, or put themselves at risk of being unable to care for themselves or function in the community in a healthy manner. Now, crisis is a state of feeling an internal experience of confusion. It can be anxiety to the degree that formerly successful coping mechanisms fail. You're having anxiety and breathing techniques is failing you. You're having anxiety and you're supposed to sit down and breathe and it's not working for you. They become ineffective. So you start making ineffective decisions, and your behaviors that take place as a result of the person's crisis may feel confused, vulnerable, anxious, afraid, angry, guilty, hopeless, or helpless. Most people affected by mental health issues can receive therapy, medication management, and other support options, peer support, and community support services. There's the services. It's a lot of services in Philadelphia. Now you can do counselor and what's the difference between a counselor and a therapist, or a counselor and therapy? They're considered to be interchangeable. So there's not really a difference. If you call your mom, and your sister call your mom mommy, and your brother call your mom by his first name, he did, right? But mom and mommy is interchangeable, just like counselor and therapy. A counselor tends to work with the life challenges on a more short-term basis. A therapist, they're more likely to treat mental health conditions on an ongoing basis. Now, I don't have LPC behind my name. I have MA behind my name. It's just two little alphabets. I'm trying to get some more, but it costs money. It costs money. So if you see my name in the title of this live, it's going to say Kimble L. Evans or K. Evans, comma, MA. That means Masters of Arts. I have my Masters of Arts in Psychology. I can be a counselor. A therapist or a licensed professional counselor has their license in the state of wherever they are. We're in Pennsylvania, so they're licensed in Pennsylvania. They can practice therapy and counseling. They can bill under insurance. I am not licensed. I'm not a professional licensed counselor. I'm not licensed in Pennsylvania. Not yet. God got there, but not yet. Okay. Psychotherapy is the correct term for providing mental health therapy services, as psycho refers to the mind. So if you ever hear your therapist, your counselor, your psychologist talk about you engaging in psychotherapy, they call it that because psycho refers as to indulging and, pertaining to your mind. Again, with mental health, you can't cut your head open and say that's the part of depression. Oh, wait. They have some OCD over there. And wait, all the way in the back, they got some anger. Let's just take that part out, and take that part out, and they'll be okay. You have to talk it out. You have to process it and things like that. So let's get into what happens if you call a mental health crisis line. There's several of them. There's a delegate line. The number is 215-685-6440. You have the suicide line, 1-800-273-8255. And then you have the new 988, which is the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. National means it's just not in Philadelphia. It's national, right? It provides 24/7 free and confidential support for people in distress. Remember, we went over that word distress. Prevention and crisis resources for you or your loved ones, and the best practices for professionals in the United States. So it's a 24/7 free hotline. It's confidential. So what happens if you call these lines? All three of the numbers that I sent out there. And don't worry, don't be quick to write them down. I will put them in the comment section later. So you'll hear the voice of a human being trained. A crisis counselor will come on the line, and they'll ask you, some questions. How are you? They might say, Philadelphia Crisis Line. They might say, this is a PCL. They might say, hello, my name is. And they might ask you, once you give them a conversation, listen, some people, the first thing they say is, I'm not suicidal. I just want to talk. And we'll say, okay. And we'll let them talk. And as they're talking, they're disclosing some stuff. And even though they said they're not suicidal, it's my job to still ask, have you had any thoughts today, 2 months ago, past, of wanting to kill yourself? Any suicidal thoughts? The person might say, no, I told you when I first called. I understand that, but you're calling the suicide hotline. It's just not for suicide. It's for suicide, homicidal, mobile crisis, resources. The line is for lots of things. Substance use. Someone called today and said they needed, a number for substance use, and I was like, well, they can call 988. She was like, is there another number? I was like, 988. So when you call in, you have the option to press 1, and it'll tell you that that's the Veterans Crisis line, or you have the option to press 2. You'll have a Spanish-speaking person come on. Then after that, it activates a mobile mental health person you talk to. They'll ask you questions. They'll help you either with dispatching a mobile crisis team, MET, which we call it. They'll help you with resources, as if you wanted to set up an appointment with a therapist for the first time, see a psychologist for the first time, possibly some case management. Maybe you're having some issues with homelessness. They'll help you with that sometimes, offer resources. They might even help you with providing you with resources for jobs, if it's in there. So we do a lot. So this is how you activate a mobile mental health crisis team. I already told you, you call us, you get the information, and then they will arrive to your home and provide therapeutic interventions or make referrals for outpatient, or they might transport you to the nearest crisis response center in your catchment area or in your neighborhood. When this happens, you complete a short survey, letting the crisis counselor know a little bit about what's going on, the situation. Oftentimes people call, and that's what I wanted to get up. There we go. The crisis counselor will ask questions. Are you having suicidal thoughts, as I just said? Have you even acted on those thoughts today? Before you call, just have you acted on those thoughts? How were you coping if you had those thoughts, earlier in the week? Do you need EMS, emergency medical services there? If you did act on those thoughts, we'll do a brief assessment. They'll give us some symptoms. If depression, you feel sad, you can't sleep, you're irritable, you lost interest in things, anxiety, you're having panic attacks, you're having some flashbacks and psychosis. You possibly might be going through some hallucinations, visual, auditory. You may be having some delusions. You may be having some paranoia. Someone's out to get you. There's aliens in the wall. There's wires in the walls. There's cameras in the walls. Your cat has wires on it. They're tracking your cat through you. Those are delusions, right? We'll get all that information. We're going to get some medical, because again, if you're having a medical issue and you get in the van and you have a serious heart attack, or you're having a heart attack or a stroke, anything, we need to know this information. Medical, if you acted on your thoughts before you called, this is very important. And substance, they go hand in hand. Remember, we talked about substance use and mental health. A person might go to substance using because they want to taper down, or whatever's going on in their mind, they want to get rid of it. And the drug helps momentarily, right? Because the mind is a very, very powerful thing. So the drug helps momentarily. Some people won't even tell us when they call, Uncle JoJo was smoking something today. They'll even lie. The person that's calling, no, I don't have no substance use, and you can clearly hear them slurring their words. So I can put that in my report. Person's calling for therapeutic services. They deny suicidal thoughts. However, they deny suicidal thoughts. They deny any substance use. However, their speech and conversation is disorganized, slurred, possible intoxication. Now, this is why I wanted to rush so bad last week, because remember I was going to tell you about 302s and 201s and all that good stuff. Yes, T. Baby, it's the simple things. Oh, that's so delicious. Now, please understand, when you're trying to 302 someone, because a lot of people get this confused. A 302 is an involuntary commitment and application for emergency evaluation and treatment for the person who are a danger to themselves or others due to mental illness. It's just an evaluation by the psychiatrist or psychologist. Now, once we get there, this is what happens. The MET team, the mobile crisis team, gets to the house. Clearly, they can assess that the person is in distress. They need a higher level of care, because MET can get there and MET can say, okay, well, this person's not in that much distress. They're coherent, oriented times 3. They know their name, they know the date, and they know who the president is. Those orientations. They don't appear to be anxious at all. They gave them some resources for them to go to outpatient services. And what happens when that happens, when MET gets there, the mobile crisis team gets there, and the person is not acting up how you seen them act up when they made that call, they have 72 hours to go back out and follow up for that person. We just don't leave you guys. They don't leave you out there like that. Mobile crisis has 72 hours to go back and follow up. We ourselves as well. If somebody called and stated that they were having suicidal thoughts and they didn't want mobile crisis to come to their house, they have the right to that. We cannot force anybody to have mobile crisis come to your house. Just like we can't force you to go to the doctor. We can't force you to go to the crisis center. But what we will do is put a safety plan in place. So if you're telling me you have active suicidal thoughts, you have no plan, you have no intent today, we're going to do a safety plan. You can even deny the safety plan. We're not going to force you to do a safety plan. You can deny it. So my next thing is, well, can I call you? Can I make a follow-up call with you the next day? If I can't make that follow-up call with you, can someone call you and follow up with you and see how you're doing? You can even deny, say, I don't want nobody follow up calling with me. So a 302 is an involuntary commitment. It's an application for emergency evaluation and treatment for a person who are a danger to themselves or others due to a mental health illness. Now, the person that's applying for the 302, because they are concerned about another, is referred to as the petitioner. A 302 related evaluation can last up to 120 hours, after which the person is either released, or if the doctor finds that the person needs extended treatment, they'll have a hearing in mental health court. So after the 120 hours or after the 72 hours, the person has to now go to see a judge. If the 302 is upheld, meaning they stayed in the crisis response center. If they stayed at the crisis response center, say if they go to Friends Hospital, which was right there on Roosevelt Boulevard, they got transported to Friends, they had a 302, the psychiatrist seen them, and now the psychiatrist is saying this person clearly is a danger to themselves or others. Let's keep them, let's admit them like they were in a hospital, but they may not stay at Friends because Friends is just a crisis response center. They may transport them to Belmont. They may transport them to Fairmount. They may transport them to a facility that handles mental health. Okay? So if that happens and the psychiatrist upholds the 302, that means that they're staying there. They're going to get treatment. They also have to go in front of a judge, because a 302 is illegal. It's a warrant. Okay. That's why the police have to go serve the 302. We're not officers. We're not police officers. We don't uphold the law. The police have to go serve that warrant. So if you call and the mobile team is there and they give you the 302 for your family member, now they have to wait till the police get there to activate that warrant. And I'm going to tell you, sometimes when the 302 is put in place, the person will leave the scene. You're like, what? Yes, the person that you got the 302 active on, that the mobile crisis came out there and seen that they were dangerous to themselves and others, will leave the scene. Don't fret, people. A 302 lasts for 30 days. The date that you signed it today is the 22nd of May. It will last until June 22nd. Just like any other warrant, the cops will be looking for. The cops will tell you once they come back to the home, call them back, and they'll come back out to issue that warrant. The cops then transport them to the nearest crisis response center. Once a 302 is authorized, the individual will be taken to the emergency room, the crisis response center, by police or ambulance for an evaluation. I already talked about the 72 hours. This allows the patient to receive basic medical treatment, to recover from the psychotic episodes, and hopefully understand that they need further help. If the person leaves before the police arrive, I know, I don't even know why I wrote the notes, because I know this back to back. And I'm not saying I know it back to back, but I went through this personally with my mother. I wasn't a petitioner, but she was always, when something happened, she would get 302 by my grandmother. And so me at my job, I'm not a delegate. I opted out of doing 302s as long as I can until I feel comfortable doing them. I'm not biased about them. Yes, there's sometimes they're needed, but yes, sometimes family members abuse the 302. When you do a 302, that person's rights are taken away from them for up to 120 hours or 3 days. They can't say they want to go home. They may be able to make a phone call. If they don't comply with treatment, they may be shot with a drug to calm them down. They may be put under restraints. Their rights are taken away from them because we're saying that they cannot maneuver and function properly by themselves. So someone has to step in and do that. Now, back in the day, my dog, when in the 80s, the early 80s, the late 80s, early 90s, 302s were pop. You can get somebody 302 very, very rapidly. You'll call 302, the 302 will be upheld. Today, I would say 20 years later, obviously on my time span in my career, they still do them, but they're very hard to come by because we see how the system is getting broken with people just 302ing people. Like I gave you the example of the ex-husband calling about his ex-wife's boyfriend. He called and said, I need this guy 302. Sir, what's going on? Well, my daughter told me that my ex-wife's boyfriend was beating on her. Just beat her up. They called the police. The police came out. They did nothing. He said that he was going to blow the whole house up. This is what the man said. I'm just tight. I'm listening to his dialogue. He was going to blow the house up. And I said, okay. I say, well, my main concern now is not the adult. I'm concerned about her, but I'm really not concerned about her. My main concern is where the children at. Oh, she dropped them off to my house. Who dropped the children off to your house? My ex-wife. Okay, so where's your ex-wife? She went to work. This, sir, make this make sense to me. Explain this to me. Your daughter called you and said that her mom's boyfriend was beating on her. She has bruises and everything all over her body. The cops got there and they didn't do anything. The wife came and gave you the children, and then the wife went to work. Why are we supposed to put a 302 out on your ex-wife's boyfriend? Some landlords will call because they can't get the person evicted from the house. And so if they're out of the house for 3 days or 1 day, or even the time that they're getting seen in the crisis response center, the landlord will change the locks. Oh, there's stories. And I've only been working with 988. It'll be 2 years, August 8th. Just with 988. I've been in the mental health field since 2015. I've been in the medical field for 19 years. My daughter's about to be 28 years old. So they work hand in hand. So that's a 302. Now, this is the part that everybody has to listen to. If the person, the petition got granted, the police took the person to the crisis response center. Now we're at Friends. Remember, we're at Friends. They're at Friends. They're about to be evaluated. Can a 302 be changed to a 201 in Pennsylvania? I'm talking about in Pennsylvania. That's where I live at, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia. Can it be changed? You're like, what, Kimble? There was a 302 petition out for that person. It was granted. They went to Friends Hospital, and now they're seeing the psychiatrist for that emergency evaluation. The psychiatrist will deem that person is okay. They may give them medication management, and now it's a 201. Because the doctor will ask you, do you want treatment? Do you understand what's going on? And depending on the assessment from the psychiatrist or the doctor, that 302, which was now involuntary, can be voluntary, because we want people to consent to treatment. Roskachenko, if you out there, honey, say it. We want them to consent to treatment. We can't force anybody to do anything against their will unless they are a danger to themselves or a danger to other people. So once that person, and again, some individuals know the system. And a lot of families like, well, why they let him go? He was 302. What's going on? They know the system. They acted a fool in front of you. They was triggered by something. You're not telling us what happened. You may not even know what happened. But by the time they got in that police car, handcuffs behind their back, that bumpy ride, they getting jumped all over. The police take them out. They take them upstairs. They sit. They wait. They see the doctor. They're like, nice. I don't want to be up in here. Doc, I'm all right. Give me the medications. I'll do outpatient services. I might do a day program. And they back home within 5 or 6 hours. That does happen. It is legal. It's legal. The psychiatrist, the mobile team deemed it was a 302 because they're out in the community. Right? The mobile team called the police to issue the warrant. The police got there, issued the warrant, transferred the person to Friends, right? Once they got the Friends, they set. And let me tell you something. When you go into the crisis response center, it's like the emergency room in the hospital. You may have 5 or 6 other people that's in front of you. Or you might have somebody that's coming in that's psychosis, that's hogtied. That's an emergency. They get in front of everybody else. It's like a gunshot wound at Temple, Episcopal, Einstein. They're going to go first before you get seen because they're in critical condition. That's why it's called the crisis response center. It's an emergency room for mental health crisis. They respond to it. We try to identify your symptoms. We try to identify you to help with coping skills, with support networks, with resources, and possible medication management or case management. And I will tell you, I don't care where you are in the county, Montgomery, Bucks, Chester, New Jersey, Philadelphia, the mobile crisis, the crisis response centers aren't pretty. They're trying to change that now. I can say Hub Cedar, 501 South 54th Street, Hub Cedar, which used to be Mercy Fitzgerald Hospital. Their crisis response center is beautiful inside because it's redid. The paint looks different. The layout is very different. Staff is trained differently. It's changing. Mental health, the system of mental health is changing. It's not like it used to be. Remember Byberry, Miss Carla? Norristown Hospital. I remember how Temple Hospital used to be. 749th floor at Temple. Jeffrey on 8th and Girard. Friends Hospital. My mom has probably been in every crisis response or facility in Philadelphia. And none of them to this day, they're probably the same paint, probably the same color, prison wall paint, the same hard chairs. It looks dreary in there. So in my mind, how can a person that's going through a mental health crisis, how can a person that's going through distress go in a place that's dreary? The paint look like cement. The furniture is all hard. It's not comfortable. Some of the staff is overworked, so they're really nasty to get help. Listen, I'm the trap therapist. I'm going to keep it 100 with you. It's not a nice place to go. It's not. It's not. However, if you want your family member to get some help, you want your child, and especially for your children. I tell parents all the time, not a nice place. That's not what you want your child to experience. The children's crisis response. I'm just trying to look at my time because I got on it at 8:39. It's 9:22, and I got the 201 next. And I'm busting it out. There's two. No, there's three. Now there's three children crisis response centers. You have the Philadelphia Crisis Response Center, which is at 3300 Henry Avenue. You have PATH, but they're only open a certain amount of hours. I think it's from like 11 o'clock in the morning to probably 6. You can go to PATH, it's like urgent care. And I think CHOP now has a children's crisis response center. I have not been to CHOP to see how it's decorated and how they got the paint and everything on there. I haven't been here to see. But it's not a nice place for your child to go. School teaches your children they're going to, be responsible in the working world. You go to work, you do a project, you take a lunch, do some more of the project, you go home, and at the end of the week or in the 2 weeks, you get a paycheck. At school, you go to school one time, you do projects, you learn some stuff, you go to lunch, you might go to gym, you go home. At the end of the year, you get promoted to the next grade. School teaches your children about being responsible at a job. School now, and I'm sorry to say this in Philadelphia, but it's true, it's teaching your children how to be prepared for prison. I said it. They have to wear a uniform, a specific way, belt on, tucked in, right pants on, right shoes, right kind of hair, and if they don't comply with those rules, oh, excuse me, they're going through metal detectors now. If they don't comply with those rules, they either get sent to the principal's office or they calling us to have a Met team come out there for the child. So can the 302 be changed to a 201 in Pennsylvania? The record will not change because it was already established. Little mom, what the heck? No, fuck. Try to sip on my tea. So once that 302 is issued, it's in the record. It stays that way in the record. However, it can be turned into a 201, as I was saying. The record will not change. It will state that you were initially brought in under involuntary, but then you voluntarily agreed to commitment under a 201. A 201 is voluntary. So people will call and say, Miss, I want a 201 myself. I'm like, okay, because again, they know the system. If they say 201, that means when they go there, they may get seen by the doctor, but when they want to leave, they can leave on their own. I'm consenting that I want treatment. I'm consenting that I need treatment, but I'm also consenting that you can't keep me here. I can leave when I want to leave. A 302 is the doctor, the psychiatrist has the final say. And after the 302 is up, and if the psychiatrist feels that that person needs more treatment, then the psychiatrist will send it over to the mental health court. And then a judge says they have the final say. A 201 is saying, I'm in distress, I'm having problems. You can call the mobile crisis unit and say, I want a 201 myself. Okay, tell me what's going on, what's happening. We're going to go through the whole scenario again. Are you having any suicidal thoughts? Have you done anything to act on those thoughts before you called us? Do you need EMS, emergency services, medical? Where are you at? Are you home alone? We're going to go through that whole survey. It's the same thing. It doesn't change. Tell me what's going on. And then sometimes by the end of the call, the person will say, you know what? I'm fine now. You helped me out a little bit. I got some things going on. We probably told them to go to their, call their health insurance to get set up with a therapist, and they'll probably do that. And that's when we'll do a follow-up. Okay, you don't want dispatch. Again, we cannot force you to go out there. We can't force you for treatment. I'm not dispatching my team to your house, sending them out. They get there and you don't answer the door. And that's what sometimes family and caregivers and mothers and aunts and uncles and wives, and you have to understand it. You're calling for your loved one. I understand that they're in distress. But if I'm saying they have to consent to treatment, you can't get on the phone and be like, listen, he over here tripping. I'm in a bathroom. He's having a crisis. He's what they say. He having a nervous breakdown. Okay, tell me what does that look like? What is he doing? What are they doing? What is she doing? He cussing and fussing. He's stumping around. He's throwing stuff. Those are behaviors. Those are behaviors. Those are normal behaviors. And we'll ask, what triggered the person? Today, assumingly, because I'm an assessment person and I'm assessing the scene, so I have to make an assumption. This 16-year-old girl, her mother kicked her out of the home. She's not even from Philadelphia. She's been living with her grandmother since February. So assumingly, the 30-year-old said something to the 16-year-old. The 16-year-old didn't like it. You're 30, I'm 16. I'm going to defend myself. I'm not saying it's right. And she went and got a knife. And what grandma saying to me, because I can't handle this. That's why when family members call the Philadelphia crisis line, or the National Suicide Life Prevention Line in Philadelphia, because we were trained properly. We get trainings, continuous trainings. We not only give the person that you're calling about, that you're concerned about, your loved one, services. We provide you with services. We let you know that you can call this line at any time. It doesn't have to just be for suicide. If you're in a distressful time with your caregiver and you're stressed out, because taking care of somebody that has a mental health crisis is very difficult. Just the same as taking care of somebody that has diabetes and dementia and Alzheimer's. Somebody that has bipolar disorder, mania, or depressive is a very difficult person to handle sometimes. Somebody, it's something as simple as, I would say, and people like simple, anxiety ain't simple. Something as simple as anxiety. Remember, if I went over depression and anxiety, what's my man that had anxiety I didn't know with white guy Ed Sheeran, diagnosed with anxiety and depression. Another couple of celebrities I had put on that link too. I'll try to find it. And oh my goodness, it's probably not. I got a new phone. Oh God, but I'll look it up. Some celebrities that came out and disclosed that they're with their mental health. So this is the thing. This is why a lot of people want the 201 themselves. You may not own or possess your own or transfer firearms in Pennsylvania. There's a law. If you get 302'd, you cannot own a firearm. Alarm. You cannot own a firearm. You cannot get a license to carry. You can't get a firearm. You're not. If you were unable to function safely, the mind never goes back. We learn things, the mind will relearn things, but when something is disrupted in the mind, it never goes back. It can be treated. Medications, talk therapy, coping strategies, putting a routine in place, setting up supports. It can be treated, but the mind never goes back. Just like if you plug something in the socket and poof, the socket blows up, you can't plug nothing in that socket because there's no more electricity going in there. It's gone. It's not going to work again unless you get in there and you change it again. We get into the brain. I'm not a scientist. Shout out to my neuroscientists. That's a deep job, y'all. Deep job. If you get into the brain and you touch something in that brain, God made us so intricately. You touch something in that brain, like the game Operation, you touch the sides and zzz, same thing with your brain. That's why if you get paralyzed from the neck down, your neck still moves. You still have movement in there, but your brain cannot tell your arm and leg to lift its hand, to grab the cup, to put your foot down. It's no signals going to those limbs. Get me? So a lot of our young people do not want to be 302 because if you get 302s, you cannot possess a weapon. I'm scared to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. However, Pennsylvania laws provide an avenue to have those rights reinstated if you prove that you can possess a firearm with no risk to yourself or to others. Oh, I'm doing good. I got 4 minutes. Hey, got 4 minutes. All right, so there are 4 adult. There's going to be more than 4 adult mobile crisis teams out because we're about to switch over in June, get a whole new system in there. But they're right currently in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia right now. We have 4 adult mobile crisis units that go out within the city. They go in catchment areas. There are 3 children crisis response. 3 children mobile crisis units that go out. So it's 4 adult mobile crisis units that can go out in Philadelphia. There's 3 children mobile crisis units that can go out in Philadelphia. Depends on what area of the city you live in that they'll be dispatched to their house. There are 5 crisis response centers in Philadelphia. 5 adult crisis response centers in Philadelphia. There's 2 crisis response centers in Philadelphia for children now. It used to be just 1. PATH has an urgent care that operates from 11 o'clock. I was right, 11 o'clock to 6 p.m. So you can take them to PATH, but it's only from 11 to 6 p.m. Guys, if you have any questions, inbox me. If there's a subject or topic you want to talk about, inbox me. I am an open book. Oh my God. Couple more minutes. I just want to give you guys some events that's going to be taking place at the end of this month, and 2 that's going to be taking place in June. Thank everybody that came out to my Sip and Paint fundraiser. It was so awesome. My family really showed up and showed out. I really shout out to my sister, my twin sister, my little sister. Shout out to my 2 daughters. Giving a shout out now to my husband. If you was at the event, you know what I'm talking about. But it was a really nice event. Even though it was a small crowd, we were able to raise $660. That was through donations that people gave. They sold into the ministry, and that was through things that happened at that fundraiser. It was a really nice fundraiser, and the place, the venue that I had it at was off the chain. It was really beautiful there, and it was Black owned. So because May is still Mental Health Awareness Month, there's going to be an event on Friday, May 31st at 7:30. It's called Ruminating Thoughts, Breaking Generational Curses. It's going to be moderated by Chrissy Menango, and this is for our youth and young adults from the ages of 15 and up. Shout out to my girl, Chrissy. This is going to be taking place at our church, which is at 5500 Tabor Avenue. It's Revival Christian Church. So that's 2 blocks away from Adams and Tabor Road that way. So Adams and Tabor Road, there's a Spanish bar restaurant at the corner over here. There's a Wells Fargo over here. There's a dentist office, something over here. And then there's a check cashing office, something on the side of the street. You'll go that way. 5500 Tabor Avenue. It's going to be on May 31st at 7:30 at Revival Christian Church. Bring your youth and young adult out there so they can talk about mental health, about breaking generational curses with it. That's what we do. That's what this platform is about. Shout out to my girl, Chrissy Menango. Now, my dear sister, Stephanie Love God, is still doing her Father's Day brunch, which is going to be on June 16th. I got the time remaining here. June 16th is a free event. Space is limited. I'll put her name in the chat so y'all can talk to her about that. If anybody wants to do a mental health first aid training class, I need at least a group of 15 people to do that training. Leave me your email and your contact information in the chat or DM it to me. Dope is having a fundraising gala June 22nd between 7:30 and 10 o'clock. Tickets are $75. This is going to be happening at the Discovery Center, 3401 Reservoir Drive. And please look for new dates for my Pastor Mike 2. That was what the fundraiser was for, to get money to do the Pastor Mike 2. It's the family edition, old school versus new school. This is what I'm going to say about that. It's to help intergenerational dialogue and fostering understanding and growth between our old school parenting and how we interact with our children now. Intergenerational dialogue and fostering understanding and growth. It's going to be on Saturday. It's either going to be on August 24th or August 31st. I'll make that known when I get with my rep to do that. So I have 35 minutes remaining. I love tonight's topic. Again, if you have any questions, DM me. I will talk to you about it. I'm going to leave some information in the chat about the crisis response centers and all those things where they add the numbers and all that stuff. I'll leave it in there. It was fun tonight, guys. The energy was good. 14 minutes, 15 minutes. My name is Kimble Evans. You are watching the Trap Lounge, and I'm your Trap Therapist. You guys be safe and have a good night.